Welcome to Back Issue Classics. Here inside the pull bag, TFG1 Mike brings in a variety of hosts to cover many comics. We review stuff from DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, Zenescope, and more. So open your ears to hear our discussions on comics you might not have known about. It's all here inside the pull bag with Back Issue Classics.
Folks, it's time once again for another Pullback Back Issue Classics. I am your host, TFG1 Mike. Joining me once again is Steve Megatron. Hello.
Hello.
And this week, we're talking about Robin Hood versus Red Riding Hood from Zenescope Entertainment. Last week, we started our Robin Hood Spotlight with Volume 1 Origin, and this week is the one-shot of Robin versus Red. Now, I know I don't want to say exposed, but I first introduced you to this whole fairy tale series. What are your general thoughts on crossovers between fairy tale characters?
I think it's fair game. I mean, it works with Once Upon a Time and stuff like that, so why not here?
Right. So this is the first time that I've seen other Zenescope Entertainment, their Grimm Fairy Tales characters. I do have a couple other things that they have done. I actually have Patrick Shan's Code Red, which is the original Red Riding Hood series, and I have the current 10th anniversary issues that they're going to be doing. They started with number 1 being Snow White, number 2 being Red Riding Hood. So as I read more and more and more of the Zenescope Grimm Fairy Tale stuff, the more I enjoy it. The more I want to get my hands on more of the stuff, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, for Robin Hood versus Red Riding Hood, we start out with Brittany Waters. She has a giant wolf for a pet. She is hunting, as she puts it, Robin Loxley, because she's a murderer. But Red has a secret that I so did not see coming. We will talk about that when it actually happens. But
I kind of guessed it, though.
Oh, come on, you did not guess that.
I did because they pulled the same thing Once Upon a Time.
Oh... I still have yet to ever watch that show.
It's actually not that bad.
Not that I don't want to. I've got so much other crap to watch. So we see Brittany. She's been tracking Robin, and she goes out in this suit of hers, and we see that Robin is shoveling horse crap, and she now has to hide out because of her wanted status in what I assume is New York City, or what will be New York City. I don't remember. I assume, yeah, she was in New York at the time. I could be wrong. And Pat, I'm so sorry. So she's on this farm taking care of the horses, and Red is stalking her. The interesting thing about Red, and I still don't know how the hell she does this, but she has some sort of mind control power over anything. Animal, human, whatever, and she uses this to make the horse basically buck up and basically throw Robin off. As we go through this, we see that Robin is living your standard criminal life. She has to constantly be on the run. She can't stay in one place too long, or they'll find her. And Red reveals herself, and actually no, she doesn't reveal herself. Robin goes back home, and then Red reveals herself. They have a fight in Robin's apartment. What are your thoughts so far about the story here?
She didn't even ask her. So wrong. That's like a hero, though. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Mm-hmm. I love how Red is just like no words. If I'm going to do this, I just have to do this. And I just love her internal monologues. They're so cool. So they have a fight, and Robyn runs past the nosy neighbor lady, and actually, no, she doesn't run past her. She runs through her into her apartment and jumps out the window. I'm getting ahead of myself here. She runs into the apartment, stands on the couch, and this neighbor lady is one of those crazy cat ladies. She has a million cats here. Not a good thing for Robyn. Even though Robyn doesn't know this, but this is not good for Robyn, because as soon as red flashes her eyes, we have demon cats. The last time I saw demon cats was Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, and the mother and the son used to eat them.
Nom 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 nom.
What do you think of the demon cat scene?
That was a little freaky, to be honest. I have 2 cats. I can't imagine millions of cats coming after me and eating me.
I love the old lady. Yes, police, my home is being invaded by 2 crazy women in Halloween costumes. My cats are very, very upset. And in the background, Robyn's like, ow, ah! So we get that fight. Robyn leaves the building. Robyn and Red fight on the street. And I love that big panel there with them just going at it. Robyn's coming from below, Red's coming from on high. And the fights are just so great. I mean, Robyn piggybacks her at one point. It was like, wow, they did not just do that. It's just hilarious. I just really dig this story. I dig the art. It's so, so cool.
I think it's interesting, the concept of having 2 otherwise like unrelated hero-esque characters duking it out.
I mean, this isn't anything new. I mean, you know just as well as I do, what happens when, Bruce Wayne goes to Metropolis. You know what I mean? It's
a turn for it.
Yeah, exactly. But this one is a little different because it's not really a turf war. It's, Brittany thinks that Robyn is a criminal, which on Earth she is. So the fight kind of ends and Robyn gets away. Brittany goes home. And Robyn pulls what Brittany pulled on her, and she comes crashing through her window. So now we have a fight at Brittany's place, but this fight goes a little differently. This fight doesn't necessarily go in Robyn's favor. I do love all of the different poses and ways they're blocking each other and things that they're throwing at each other and punches and swords and knives and bows and arrows and all that stuff. Absolutely love it. And her eyes glow, and she actually whistles. First of all, we saw that wolf earlier. He's huge. There's no way he could fit in that closet. I mean, if you look at the panel where he's like, grrr, look at the size of the door and look at the size of the wolf. I know I'm nitpicking here, but there's just absolutely no way that big guy could have fit in that closet.
Yeah.
And I love, yeah. And I love, it's one thing I should have mentioned last week. Throughout this entire series, the Robin Hood series, I love Robin's internal monologues. She's just so sarcastic and it's awesome. And she says here, oh great, she's got a dog. Or that. Oh boy. So the fight continues, and it actually escalates outside, and we see that Brittany, aka Red, has somewhat of a secret. And as she and Robyn fight in the park, she actually turns into a werewolf, folks. So, everybody knows the traditional story of Red Riding Hood, correct?
Yes.
Little Red Riding Hood hopping along the bunny trail down to Grandma's house to give her some goodies. As she's going along, the wolf shows up and says, "Oh no, take a shortcut to Grandma's," and ends up either eating Little Red or the grandmother or both. You know, this ain't that kind of story, folks. This is pure genius to me. Like, you want to take a classic story of a classic fairy tale character and turn it on its head? Do this. Like, I know you said you saw this was coming. I so didn't. I was like, because I just assumed that her pet wolf was, you know, the antithesis of what the wolf is supposed to be in the traditional story. That's what I figured. I figured, oh, they're a tag team or whatever. And I so did not expect her to turn into a werewolf.
Yeah, like I said, I saw that coming. Mm-hmm. Only because that was, like, the only direction I could see that going.
So, Robyn's like, run! Why aren't you running? And she stops Red. But not before Red tries to get on a bus. Not good.
The front of the bus.
Yeah, but she goes, Robyn says, what'd she say? After she stops Red from hurting the family, she goes, "Oh, crap. Really didn't think of that." And she's kind of Red is kind of heading for other people. And that's when she sees the bus. So she jumps and, like, pole vaults out of the bus's way, and thankfully the bus driver hit his brakes, because Red would be dead if he didn't. But Red gets hit by the bus, and she then reverts. Whole bunch of onlookers. We go to the hospital, and Brittany, aka Red, is not looking too well here. She's not proud of herself, everything else. And we see Robyn in shadow. And Brittany just assumes that, oh, you've come to kill me.
She's like, nope, I'm just coming to say hi.
I just want to talk. I just want, to listen, So they share their stories and everything else. And Brittany's like, well, you stopped me. And she actually says, Brittany says, even with that, though, if you ever kill another human, that's it. You're done. Fair enough. And if you ever come after me again, I'll show you why I'm a legend in Mist. So Robyn leaves, and Brittany kind of smiles, and, it kind of ends there. I wasn't sure what to think of this crossover, but after I've read this thing like 3 or 4 times. Obviously, the first time I got it, and in preparation for this, I do love the idea of Red hunting Robyn, like, the whole vigilante thing. I really do dig the whole growth, and they eventually become, or will become, best friends. It really deepens both of their characters. As I said earlier, this was the first time I read any other Zenoscope fairy tale character, and it really has me wanting to read more, so at some point we're going to at least cover the Code Red series, which is what Patrick Shand had written a while ago, which is solely focusing on Brittany. I think it's kind of like her origin thing. I could be wrong. I haven't looked at it yet. And I'm sure Patrick Shand will correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, sir, overall thoughts on this one shot?
I think it was very well put together for the kind of epic battle that it was. Mm-hmm. Like to see more of that kind of thing, but I'd give it about a 4.5 out of 5.
As just a single issue one shot, even though it ties into the rest of the story that's going to be coming up and everything else, I gotta give this a 5 because this was a solid story from beginning to end. There wasn't anything that I didn't like here. So that's gonna do it for this very short episode of the Pull Bag. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about in depth the next arc in the Robin Hood story called Wanted. So that'll be coming up next week. And then after that, we're going to be talking about the Age of Darkness and then Legend, which is the final arc in the core of Robin's main story. After that, the current ongoing starts. So after Legend ends. So that'll be going on there. In the future, because where the Pull Bag's Robin Hood coverage will end is Legend, I believe. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's yes, the Robin Hood month spotlight thing. We will end it at Robin Hood Volume 3 Legend. So, in the future, what's going to happen with Robin Hood coverage here in the Pull Bag is most likely Steve and I, unless there's something in the future that makes him not want to read the series. I don't think there will be, but we will be doing probably, depending on when the trades are released, we'll probably do Robin Hood coverage once a month, once every 2 months. It just depends on when the trades are released. Right now, there is one trade out collecting the ongoing series, issues 1 through 5. And they're up to issue 12 overall so far. So that's what's going on there. You got anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it.
All right, make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Geekcast Radio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.